Greetings everyone, my name is Zetterville, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Mega Man Maker, one day following Halloween edition, evening time. In this sometimes evening livestream, I'm going to be continuing my playthrough of the level pack Mega Man Full Screen Attack by Apple 123 and last week I completed the intro stage and 80 RM levels. And to sum it all up, this is one of the better level packs, but it has some issues with polish. At least every one of the stages has at least novel ways of using their enemies, mechanics, and what have you. I do have some gripes about the weapon choice, but that's more because all of them are basically full screen attacks or screen clearing weapons, although there is usually differentiation. Welcome to stream J Butters and Space 2. So tonight the 5 Wily Fortress stages, beginning with Wily 1, a Systole Man, 27 plays and a score of 6. Let's do this. NSF replacements like before. Eee. I'm gonna apologize in advance because my network connection is kind of wonky tonight. So you may see more than a few frame drops here and there. As an example of weapons that kind of overlap with each other, why do we have the Time Stopper and Flash Stopper simultaneously? They fulfill pretty much the same role, but one is directly better than the other. I understand why having the Time Slow versus the Flash Stopper or Time Stopper does cause differences. But those two, yeah. Disturbingly empty. Jaden may or may not be joining us tonight because they're sleepy. How much the level pack did I complete last time? I believe most of it, but there's still several parts left over. Like, the 5 Fortress levels are left. I was gonna it was either that or damage boosting. Oh boy. Weapon to make my life easier. And this is a fortress stage, so I'm gonna make full use of every weapon I have at my disposal. And because they're all basically screen clearing, oh boy. Let's do this to the correct direction, shall we? And because they pretty much all affect the entirety of the screen, well, you know what's coming up next then. Slow water. Hi, Deadly. I would stay longer. I would start streaming the next level pack, but I have friends to talk with after this. Nope. Oh gosh, oh gosh. This is, frightening. Not gonna lie. Doing this without special weapons, it's doable, but it is a bit frightening at spots. Take it nice and steady. Oh. You know what? I want to run up the ladder. Ah, sneaky. Oh. Unnecessary, but I'm doing it anyways. Ooh. Ouch. Might be. Okay. Oh, phew. I need to refill the Centaur Flash. The Centaur Flash, Flash Stopper, they have been my go-to weapons ever since I got them throughout this pack. I appreciate this pack because even if it's kind of messy and unpolished in many places, it's at least trying and forcing me to engage with the mechanics in novel ways, or at least ways that are less common. Oh, perish. Eee. You know what? Yeah, since we're guaranteed to have all our weapons here, this could have been the perfect excuse to design more challenges that are surrounding them. Like, it doesn't have to force the use of all the special weapons, but at least a little bit more encouragement to use them. Like, in many places, sure it is, but you can still do all these challenges without the use of these special weapons, when I would have preferred if they forced us to use one or two of them. And when I say forcing, I mean, don't force us to use every single special weapon, but force us to at least use 2 or 3 of the set at the minimum. Have substitutes so you can go with different ones if you run out of one or the other, but I don't know. Venus Waterfall's hair through everything. Yeah, and it has a perfect selection of gimmicks for at least a couple of them, like using the Gravity Swapper for water and Crush for the splash platforms. I mean, that was a safer way of doing this. Oh? Darn it. Okay. This is a more intricate setup, but I see what you want me to do here. This is one of those sections where this could have been a cool place to use a tornado hold. I get that the main levels of the pack are supposed to be more traditional stages, but once you get to a fortress level, you have more license to go wild with forcing weapon usage. And when I say wild, I don't mean, oh sure, just allow everything or force use of everything, but at least more encouragement would be nice. Whoa. I don't like these sorts of jumps, but at least this pack gives me the power to just mitigate them completely. I am not comfortable with these sorts of jumps. Oh no, I didn't... Oops. Especially the positioning that enemy. Oh, that's bad timing. Okay. Oh my goodness, that saved me. No. Centaur Flash! Once again, Centaur Flash, damage boosting, Flash Stopper. The direct time manipulation weapons are just saving me. Okay. Okay. It's a little bit difficult to parse what's going on with all the water sprouts, but I see what the vision is here. Oh my goodness. Whew. Imagine if these did contact damage or crush damage. At the last section, you can do without the use of any special weapons, but boy, having at least time manipulation is very much encouraged here. I felt bad about using special weapons like this in the earlier stages, but now that I'm guaranteed to have access to them now, I'm gonna go hog wild. On to Wily 2, Demise Man, 27 plays, score of 6. And putting everything aside, I appreciate the challenges involved here and actually reusing the pre-existing mechanics. One of the things I've criticized in numerous previous level packs is that when you get to the fortresses, even when they reintroduce the gimmicks from the previous 8 less or more levels, they don't really do anything interesting with them. This, on the other hand, actually does some interesting things. That's why, despite all my criticisms and wishes of how it was more involved, mechanically involved, I still will put this better than half the pack, and better than the last 3 packs I covered. Well, I'm assuming 3. Toxin's pack, or the one they sent for Retro Week from Mega Marino, that's better than this. Or at least it feels better that way. Wow. Double punished. No, Tedley, I'll wait. I haven't even finished your previous level pack yet, so give it time, please. Excuse me. Excuse me. Thank you. Yeah, having a level pack focus on a specific niche of weaponry is a cool idea. It's just that I don't know if just focusing on full screen attacks is necessarily the best idea, considering just how powerful many of them are. Because screen clearing attacks are designed to be fairly powerful, being able to hit all the enemies, or fairly impactful, but with the cost of the weapon bar itself, not being able to spam it as much. However, by giving me essentially 8 screen clearing weapons, it mitigates one of the main disadvantages of using them. There are distinct differences between each of them, thankfully, because the devs were smart. But it feels like you can just overcome most of the enemies with a few problems. Maybe if I only had access to 4 of the screen clearing weapons, it would be... if I had access to only 4 of the screen clearing weapons, it'd be a bit of a different story because of the different secondary effects they have. And of course, the pack actually built... And of course, the pack was actually built more around them. Like, the fortress stages are fun, but it's... I don't know. Could have been better. Could have been more involved. Like, for example, as another idea, what if we have a pack that's, oops, only focused on the use of shield-based weapons? Or the buster replacement weapons? Or non-standard weapons? Or more gimmicky weapons? Or, as I've seen before, one that focuses only on mobility enhancers like the charge kick, or pile driver, or top spin, or things that can be used as such. Danger! Missiles. How about no? You could have put at least some time blocks to mitigate that. I know, I'm sounding a bit harsh. I'm criticizing more based off of what I think this could have been versus what it actually is. And I know if you go too far with the requirements, it will turn off people who don't necessarily have the skill level. What do I need? Centaur Flash. Oh, good heavens. I probably could have made it. Welcome to the Mega Man 2 room. That's why I probably should have used a Centaur Flash instead. I never trust myself with these sorts of rooms. Woo. I do want to at least try this once. And okay, that is also a tricky jump. Sheesh. Yeah, it is mechanically difficult to balance all of them because... It is difficult to build them because, in the combat sense, they fundamentally perform the same task. Now, there are exceptions, of course. Like, okay, Gravity Hold, Centaur Flash, they happen instantaneously once you press the button. Rain Flush and Astro Crash have a short delay before they activate. Same applies to Tornado Blow. Okay, let me rephrase my statement. Gravity Hold, Centaur Flash, and Tornado Blow, they happen instantaneously. Whereas with the Rain Flush and Astro Crash, there is a short delay. Time Slow and Time Stopper... Well, Time Stopper you can't use offensively. Time Slow you can use offensively, but you have to pair it with something else. Flash Stopper, you're locked using the Mega Buster when it's active, but all the enemies are frozen. The main thing that differentiates them is not their combat abilities, it's really their side effects. Or second and tertiary effects. Which again, I wish the stage was built... Which again, I really wish the stage was actually built... The fortress stages were built around. But I'm sounding like a broken record now, so I am not going to say more. Cool, those ignore Time Slow. Like, these rooms are cool and all, but they really seem like they're built just for, assuming that you don't have access to special weapons. If you do, well, these kind of become like a joke. Black hole bomb, where art thou? Wheel cutter as well, that's one of my favorite weapons from 10. Wily Fourth was more intricate, and, well, checkpoint placement's fine, so I'm not going to criticize it too much, but yeah. If we didn't have access to special weapons, that could become Diet Kaizo-like. Well, that's an exaggeration. You have to be very meticulous with some of the jumps, especially because you don't have access to bounce damage boosting off of enemies. Tornado Blow and Gravity would be unique if carried enemies could affect the level environments, or we had more challenges which required vertical height boosts that you couldn't just easily use the Rush Coil with. For example, you had to get a vertical boost of height in the middle of a running section. I've seen stages do that before. Yeah, it's you, J Butters, and Space2 in chat. I'm sorry. Seems like everyone else has gone to bed. And stop. Whoa. Yeah, I should have picked the other one. That was bad. The moment I go there, they're gonna activate. So I won't let them. Yeah, no. I'm gonna patiently wait here. Thank you. I would say that's the best or second best. That depends on whether you need vertical boosts. I wish the wind platforms were added to the engine, though. I am not detonating these. I already learned my lesson several times before. Oh boy. Okay, get ready, go. And the first boss is Jewel Man. Oh my goodness. Save me. Yeah, that was necessary. Whew. Wasn't there 4 gyres orbiting around the arena? Or am I missing it? Like, I like the Tornado Blow, but right now it's limited to screen clearing and vertical boosts. But really, the vertical boosts are better handled by other weapons or utilities, unless you're in a racing section. They need to be paired with another gimmick that really works with them. Anyways, in regards to the demise of Spike Man, I liked it. Wily Tree, Stillbirth Man, 21 plays and a score of 5. Asystole, Demise, Gilbert. So, heart failure, someone who've met their demise, someone who didn't get the gestation. Why did they give me the time slot there? So what's next? Executed man? Condemned man? Formerly alive man? I like the choice of NSF replacements. Man. The quote-unquote official name given to Bad Box Arc Mega Man in Fully Charged. Oh? Why no time slow? I get getting rid of the time weapons, but why just time slow? Oh, cool. I didn't see the spikes initially. I mean, if we encounter Deadman stage in this pack, this wouldn't really be a problem because Centaur Flash. Excuse me. Thank you. Thank you, doggy. Thanks again, doggy. This time I shall pay attention to the spikes on the ground. Oh my... What? Why did my jump get interrupted? Did I bump my head against that one block there because it was desynced? A pre-truck update level. It's more likely than you think. Thank you, Sun Boost of Speed. Okay, I was hoping I didn't have to use the Centaur Flash, but if I have to use it, I'll use it. Or the other time-based weapons. One pixel off and it doesn't have correction. And this is Maker, so it doesn't really have the compensation that Mega Mix can have. Thank you, doggy. You're awesome. Alright, we're going down. Okay, that's what's happened. So, makeshift truck. That is a cool idea, not gonna lie. Turn around the correct direction. And it's back, but I'm still questioning why of all the weapons you got rid of the time slow when the things that really break the challenge are still allowed. Like, time slow does make it easier, but it doesn't just completely delete the challenge. Like, I can totally understand wanting to make the challenge a bit harder, but in that case, get rid of the easy buttons and keep the medium button. Unless you wanted to give the players a way out, or keep them out, keep a way out. Don't split. Time Stopper. Time Stopper. Pretty sure it's supposed to spawn the top box further to the Pretty sure they're supposed to spawn the upper blocks further to the right. Yeah. Once again, polish issues, but again, I still appreciate this level design more than... See, I keep pointing this out multiple times because, let's face it, most of the random level packs I play, typically by people who haven't consistently posted levels over here, they don't tend to be that good, I'm afraid. So on the occasion I get a level pack where even if it's messy, it has some novel ideas or tries to push harder on its mechanics, I praise them a lot more than I probably should. Okay, that was sneaky. And nasty. Gnork. Lag. I mean, that turned into a real one. Let me up. Thank you. Like, this is basically the construction yard. Or the moving, or basically, I got caught. I thought I was further enough from the conveyor belt, but my leg got caught on it. We've basically gone into the moving block section, like the warehouse part of the stage, or the warehouse part of the facility. I still don't get why this is called the Silbert Man. Nothing about this place screams medical facility to me. Luckily, the checkpoint density is good. Stay away from here if you don't want to die. And done. Right now, this is where the time stopper shines because I can just toggle it on and off no problem. Anyways, I would really like to use Aster Crush more, but its overkill is not really necessary. I will be using it for special weapon weaknesses, though, but that's going to probably be the next stage. On the other side. And once again, we don't get the time slow. Cool. I see it, I see it. Centaur Flash! Centaur Flash! Centaur... I feel like yelling what... I thought I just shifted it fast enough, it didn't. And the checkpoints for after that section. Whoops. I wanted to be safer and more conservative with the weapon usage, but that turned out to be the bad decision. Thank you, jump button. The trucks are carrying the patients. I guess that could work. I'm just trying to find the value in relation to what's happening here. With asystole, I was thinking heartbeat ending. Demise, well, there are spikes everywhere. That's where the demise is coming from. Again, seriously. I want to try doing this without the use of special weapons, but things like these are really incentivizing me to just go for it. Also, these sections would be actually, I honestly think the sections would be easier if I had a buster replacement weapon. I know this is another one of Wily's plots to defeat Mega Man. Just trying to figure out some of the naming conventions and why Wily did certain things. But of course, this is more like Saturday morning cartoon logic, so don't think about it too hard. If you do, you'll get a migraine. Oh, yes, yes. No. Oh, okay, you saved me. I should have realized you'd pull off that trick again. Why? Like I said, you did it again. Danger! Okay, I thought this truck was gonna rush forward and crush me. Yeah, I need to do this again. I was too slow. Go, go, go. Oh no. Are we doing this now? Looks like it. Aha! Didn't even need to use that. Excuse me. Like I said at the start of this fortress, I'm gonna make full use of my special abilities, even if it sometimes breaks the challenge. Like, with these challenges, I basically have 3 or 4 different ways of cheesing them. I know Jaden makes jokes about hashtag check that cheese. This is that, but taken further. Like, this is gonna be a speedrunner's dream. If anything, for all the ways you can just break this. Oh no. Stop. Stop. Alright, we made it to the boss. Who is it gonna be this time? I mean, him and his setup. Bounce Man. Oh my goodness. Okay. I was wondering, why are those barriers there? Why are there barriers there? And then I see we're getting assaulted by trucks, which can potentially crush Bounce Man too. That's it? Surely there would have been a phase 2. A Sicilian demise or tougher. Yeah, going back to Jay Butter's point, that's the thing with most of these packs or Mega Man Classic fan games, or games in general. Most of the games in the series have Saturday morning cartoon, basically have excuse plots and /or Saturday morning cartoon plots, which may have some humorous bits, but are relatively forgettable and are just there to give you an excuse of why the events are happening before throwing you into the main meat of the whole game, the gameplay. This is not like Mega Man X or Zero or the feature games in the series, where the plots become less of where the plots actually matter more and are treated less as excuses, which opens up its own can of worms, seeing how Capcom treated the following parts of the series. But that's a story for another day. Classics writing is mostly fine. I'm okay with that. It can be explored further. See, for example, Ian Flynn and Co.'s tenure at the Archie Mega Man comics. But yeah. Like, the lore can get pretty deep if you know where to look. Like, I know this is gonna be a bit of a rant here, but saying Mega Man X is only one answer to what if Mega Man Classic was darker and edgier. Or, to put it another way, the X series is only... Mega Man X is an answer to what if Mega Man Classic was taken in a darker and edgier direction. It's not the answer, it's a answer. You don't have to have you don't repeatedly have to have potentially apocalyptic end of world plots every game for something to be darker and edgier than classic. I actually appreciate Zero's storyline more than Mega Man X, but it has some issues of presentation as well. And I don't think having all those backstory and side stories in the audio dramas helped either. Yeah, that's why I treat most of the stories in the packs with a grain of salt and treat it more like usually as excuse plots. Which is also unfortunate because, again, like I said, classic lore can get quite deep. And when you have the right creators who know where to look and what to explore, you can end up with some pretty cool and insightful reads. Once again, I'm referring back to the Archie Mega Man comics. Shame they got cancelled. I really, really wish someone else picks up the mantle and keeps going. Or heck, even the Mega Mix comics. But I feel like Archie is one of the best attempts from the English-speaking side of the fandom. Or English-speaking part of the franchise. I have a lot of issues with the X storyline. I can basically summarize most of my criticism as saying that my issue with how Capcom has been writing most of the X series is that they basically write in a similar fashion to the classic games. With how they built up the X series and the intent and what have you, with the more serious tones and exploration of topics, it doesn't make sense. So yes, that's basically a more long-winded way of saying they hold themselves back too much, as in they don't really explore the implications or actual world building. Yeah, I probably would agree with Megamix being better. But, like, if you were really to explore the X series, the story and what have you, or world, it doesn't necessarily have to be darker, but actually explore the implications of Reploids growing more and more prominent in society, the worries and dangers of potentially any of them going Maverick at any time, or heck, with X7 and onwards, the repeated failures of the Maverick Hunters to actually stop the Mavericks in a timely enough fashion, which caused the world to end multiple times. Almost end multiple times. Like, there are plenty of avenues and off-ramps to check. Oh, yeah. I was waiting for someone to look at that. Yeah, thankfully they're not here tonight. As much as I appreciate them, they can be a bit annoying with some of the jokes they make. I'm totally okay with that username, but... Alright, Wily 4. On to Wily 4. Interment Man. 24 plays and a score of 1. Internment Man? What? Like, I know I make some jokes about furries, but... I don't really go too much further into it because not relevant enough and I don't really cover that many furry games. Like, the last one I can consider to be on the quote-unquote furry side would probably be... Code Bunny? Someone forgot to block off the screen. Remember to check your screen boundaries. Nice Wally intro screen. Okay. Let's do this the right way now. It's a basic thing, but I keep seeing many level designers fail to do that. Please, if you don't want someone to transition over to that screen, block it off. It could have been worse. I could have fallen off into the abyss. And don't just limit yourself to the quote-unquote Zero and ZX games, or the directly inspired ones from Inti. Also try checking out some of the indie games that are directly inspired by the Zero series. Like, I know Gunvolt is on my list, but don't limit yourself to just that. Okay. That's completely 100% my fault. Really, the Gunvolt game I'm mostly looking forward to is 2, followed by the Luminous Adventure sub-series. The more and more I play these games, the more I'm realizing that, if people don't like them, if some people don't like them, I'll say, I mean, Code Money does take quite a bit of inspiration from, Gunvolt. Huh? Okay. Oh my goodness. Thank goodness there's no enemies here. Some of those jumps are frightening. At least you had the decency to not make it into a Diet Kaizo section. And also the other spin-offs, I suppose. Like, I'm gonna play more of Inti's games, including some of the slot titles. Like, Majigami looks interesting. I know the many problems with Inti's quote-unquote shovelware thingies, what have you, but at a certain point, I've realized more and more that it's like what Jaden said about only remembering things, that it's kind of similar to how Jaden says they only remember things that had an that left an emotional impact on them. For me, it's more the case of how I understand that some games don't have the best, don't have the best design, or they are messy or unpolished, or don't have the best production values. At a certain point, I've realized that at my point in life, I'm going to look for more I want to engage in more engaging or enjoyable experiences for me. And besides, I'm not going to stop playing games that are very well received. I played Hollow Knight almost out of a whim, for Pete's sake, and beat the game at least once. I will be getting back to that later this year, don't worry. And I will get the Shovel Knight later, probably early next year. So don't worry, I'm not gonna just be focusing on stuff I just enjoy. Not to mention, I'm gonna be hopefully later this year, I will be covering yours and Sylveon's suggestions. Spikes that'll almost never harm you if you know where you're going. Okay. Except there's now that spike off screen. I didn't realize it'd go extend that far. But thank you for listening to my mini rant TED Talk. That's a good question. Where is the rematch stage? Is it gonna be the next one? Let go, game. Thank you, Popcorn. Oh no. Flash! I lost it, darn it. Yeah, I have more than enough E-tanks for this. I'm just gonna use them now. So if my foot brushes up against that, I'm dead. So this is one of the, okay, this is one of the situations where I am forced to use special weapons so I don't die. See? Really, game? I was holding left. Hi, Apple. Okay, that's becoming unintentionally harder because of off-screen elements not behaving the way I thought they would. Oh, how I wish I could reorder the weapons in my order. Like, I appreciate having the time weapons on one side, but on the rear side, I wish I had the more offensive options available. Offensive being like sometimes like the gravity. It's kind of strange to say this, but I don't like the ordering of my offensive tool set. They're screen clearing weapons, sure, but that's not how I would organize them. Yeah, it took us 5 stages to get to a point where we have to use a special weapon. The previous ones, you can get by the sections, albeit with difficulty without the use of weapons. Here though, you have to use a weapon. Well, technically, you don't well, now that I think about it, technically you don't have to use a weapon, because if you time it right, you can just curve around to the left side. It is risky though. Oh, if you screen transition, it resets the centaur flash. That's what happened. I was worried for a moment there'd be spikes, and of course. Activated, you can't get back down. See, the problem with that, yeah, it is blocking the screen transition and causing oddities. Well, I forgot about that downside about the centaur flash, of how it disables that. Oh. Or how it turns itself off on screen transitions. That's one of the downsides to it. Anyways, we're outside this room, thank goodness. After spending what felt like 4 minutes on this. You organize the weapons in terms of what games they were originated from. I would reorganize... I prefer reorganizing them in terms of utility, but in the end though, the best option would be if the Mega Man Maker was updated to allow us to reorder the weapons per stage. That'd be my favorite middle ground solution. Anyways, that was the hardest part of the stage, and it's over. I guess. Astro Crush time? Yes. Exit. Ah. Okay, there's a rematch. Trying to use our screen clearing weapons to save the day. Okay. What will you be weak to? Of course. You're the closest to Quick Man. That wasn't so hard. Okay. Well, it is sky-based. Ow. Goodbye. Ice, so... what's closest to fire? Immune, okay. Time slow? Not questioning that. Yeah, the vertical zigzag. Again, another room structure that could have been explored much further with the use of certain other weapons. Like, we could have had a pseudo damage boosting section involving the center flash, where you had to ascend and where you had to platform our way through a series of spikes, on top of the spikes using the flash itself. Okay. No comment. Immune. Why are you weak to asteroids? Most of these weapon weaknesses don't really make sense to me, but... Oops, I used all of it. No matter. Time for my trusty acid bat. One left. And I think I can narrow it down to this. Maybe? Yeah. SMH, one full bar doesn't deal them in. Kaboom! I hope there's a Yashishi on the other end. Hello, Wily. Bye, Wily. Ah, there's Interment Man. No, I've been glued. Doink. Phase 2. Turning red. Oh boy. I'm gonna use everything here. Wait, you can delete the shields? Oh no. So... So if Darkman loses his shield, he just bugs out. Maybe they should have actually did a check to see if Darkman's shields were destroyable, maybe the boss should have done a check to see that they actually still have it. Oops. Okay, is there any other boss fight after that? If not, I'm just gonna jump straight ahead to the Wily 5. I'm not repeating that stage. We'll pretend that we defeated Darkman and he blew up the entire arena. Okay, we'll pretend that I beat it. Word of advice to programmers who are working in the Megamix, Mega Engine, or offshoot engines. If an object is potentially destroyable, and an enemy depends on that object in some way, or uses it some way, make sure to always check to see if it actually exists before using that object. Like in this case, in Darkman 4's code, somewhere he was trying to use the shield, probably for rotating around himself. But because they were destroyed, you're referring to a non-existent object, so game crash. Object exists. Alright, on to the final level. Wily 5, the Wily Machine. 26 plays, score of 1. I get why there's a negative scores, but... because some of these challenges are... At the same time though, I wouldn't call this fully Daikazo because it still gives you multiple ways to make the challenges easier, if not just cheesing them entirely. True J Butters, but some of these errors feel like they should be parsed out. Like, this error basically says that object not found, which of course makes sense. We just got rid of the shields. It feels like there was a miscommunication and someone forgot to update the necessary things. Like, until now, I didn't realize that those shields were actually destroyable in that way. Anyways, final level. And yeah, it's showing its age. This is more of an oopsie moment. It's a simple... and from my knowledge of the Mega Engine, this is kind of a simple fix. No! If I only used the Buster, this level pack would be pretty difficult to die at Kaizo in a few spots, especially in the Fortress levels. It was already fairly difficult in Cryo Man stage, which honestly, that needs an easier version more so than Quasar Man needed, because I'd replay through Quasar Man with just the Buster. It's not as tough. Oh my goodness! Hi, Drake. Hey, doggy. Bye, doggy. By this point, you know what my main critique about this pack is, so I'm not gonna repeat it. Let me finish this first, then. You know what I'll be praising and what I'll be critiquing. Well, I don't know when was the first time we were able to destroy Darkman's shield, so it could have been there for a while. And it has been reported because, people didn't use the gimmicks in that way. Excuse me. Speaking of another area, this is actually one... Okay, so with that following section where I had to get the key where I used the Centaur Flash, that wasn't technically necessary to use a Flash. Here though, unless I damage boost, I can't make it true without dying. I have to special weapon this. What just happened? I was... Okay, I got this... The health bar was blocking it a bit. Yeah, I got distracted by the fact and... Yeah, this is the point where you really are intended to use the Centaur Flash. Where am I supposed to go to next? I'm confused. Oh, down, I see it. Okay, Okay, that'll turn it off, so... Unless you want me to do that. Yeah, I think that's not how I'm supposed to do it. Oh, there's a... I see it. Oops. And this is where I use this. I don't think I could have damaged with... I'm pointing this out because for most of the fortress, I've been waiting for sections which force me to special weapons. This is technically the first one. Whoa. No, I'm dead. Nope, I'm alive. Eep, no. If I shoot that, I'm dead. So, let's think. Or I could just rush coil that, now that I think about it. It has been a while since I last used my trusty dog. Okay, still alive. To move forward, I need to move this to the left. Oh my goodness. Okay. You want me to do this? And that was unnecessary. Go me. One for each side. Neat. Checkpoint! Glorious checkpoint. And a full refill to Centaur Flash. Easily turning out to be the best or second best weapon of this pack. There are just so many places it comes in handy. It doesn't last as long as a Flash Stopper, but when you need to become immune to enemies or hazards, it's your best bet. The only thing it doesn't protect against are like the skull blocks, but they don't really exist in this pack. Dr. Wily. Nice, it's this Crusher. Ow, it's this Crusher. Ouch. And the capsule. Most level packs I've seen would make a separation between the penultimate stage and the actual final boss encounter. Or rather, the lead up to the final boss wouldn't be as tough as this stage. It would be like, if this was like many other level packs, or most of them, 5 would have been 5 and 6. The lead up to this was actually quite challenging, involving some of the toughest challenges so far in this pack, and the first time I've seen where you absolutely need to use a weapon. I know I said this a bunch of times and redacted it. This time though, unless you have some careful damage resisting setups, it seems mandatory. Okay, you want Acid Rain? You get Acid Rain. Watch out! The whole place is going up in flames. What happened to Wily? We don't know. That's probably just a clone bot. Wait a moment. Stop. Leap of Fate! Back to the grasslands. sky simulation has disappeared. Okay, after walking for several hours, Mega Man returns to Dr. Light's lab, thus concluding the level pack. The world has been saved yet again. Oh, this is actually... okay. Oh, I would argue to tone down the latter section, but I appreciate the bite to it. So thus, this clears the level pack. What do I think about Full Screen Attack? Let me summarize it. On the positives, unlike most other level packs I've played as of recently, barring Toxin G stuff and Mega Marino, you actually make use of your gimmicks and enemies' mechanics in novel ways. They're not the most unique setup, sure, but they actually force me to engage in them in some ways, especially if I decide to go without the use of the full screen attack weapons. Although it did result in some stages having some wonky difficulty curves and weird setups, and I think most of the setups could do with some more polishing and less jank, but overall, I appreciate that you at least put a lot of things on the plate that even if they aren't presented or executed the best, they, to use a metaphorical statement, they are delicious and a nice breath of fresh, a nice showcase of someone who wanted to be more ambitious. And while they didn't quite succeed in that front, I appreciate it. Now, my main critique with this is how, I already talked about the jank and unpolishing. The difficulty curve of some stages is very, questionable. You saw how much I criticized Cryo Man with the odd checkpoint density and placement and some of the challenge progression. Quasar Man had an easier version, but honestly, Cryo Man needs it more. If I didn't have some of the special weapons I did, that would be even more of a nightmare. I should have gone there once I should have gone to that stage after I got the Centaur Flash. Really, my main disappointment of this pack, like, I appreciate each of the levels and what they explored. When I say explored, I mean the gimmicks, stage elements they used. My main disappointment comes with the Wily Fortress stages. You had the perfect opportunity to force the usage of one or more of this full screen screen clearing weapons, making use of their secondary effects. But outside of Wily 5 and maybe one spot in Wily 4, that didn't really happen. Oh, certainly you are very encouraged to use them in many spots, but when you use the most effective ones, it basically turns most of those challenges into jokes, or cheesable. What I really wanted to see was some challenges which were built around the use of using them. Redundant statements, putting aside those things. I really wanted to see some more involved challenges involving, for example, the Tornado Blow, Astro Crush with its delayed jump, or holding you in the air temporarily, or even more stuff involving the careful usage of the time-based weapons. We did have something involving the Centaur Flash at the end, but I wanted something for each of the weapons, or at least half the weapons. You didn't have to go too far with heavy usages of them, because that could make the pack too difficult for the target audience of intermediate to somewhat upper intermediate. And my other point is, the castle did start to drag on, especially with 4 and 5. When you don't have forced weapon usage and stuff like that, I feel many of the sections could have been excised or compressed down, while still maintaining the main things that made them special. The reason why I'm more harsher on the Wily Fortress levels is because you're guaranteed to have all the weapons there, so you might as well have some challenges built around them. The returning gimmicks and elements were used fine, but they could be explored, they could be refined even further. And one way would be special weapon focusing. Oh, and the solution to that problem, Apple, is to use the weapon center. Like, we have plenty of tools now. The Maker devs included plenty of tools to help mitigate that problem. Just add a weapon center at the end of every section which requires the use of that weapon, if you want a minimum. Or if you really want to, make that weapon setter only accessible if the special weapon energy you have is less than the required one. Regardless though, as I said repeatedly, and I'll say for the last time, thank you for sending this level pack to me. Going into this, I thought this is going to be another one of those mediocre experiences, but here though, we need all the jank and weird, not the best executed design decisions. There's something special. I say it was decent. Iterate on the mechanics, make them more refined. Oh yeah, and I feel another limiting factor of this pack is, and I know it's more of an ad thing, by having all the weapons basically being screen clearing weapons, it reduces the number of combat focused challenges you can make. And instead, most of the challenge has to come from the platforming itself. Not necessarily a bad thing, but it's noticeable. In any case, this ends the stream. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow morning for Team Fortress 2 Halloween.